Good morning, class. Welcome to another enabling, engaging English session. Surely that this learning engagement will be fun and full of excitement. In our today's session, we will have a virtual visit to a hospital in aiming to maintain a healthy body, to avoid contracting any kind of diseases, specifically COVID-19. Always keep in mind, think positive, stay negative. Are you ready? Yes, I know you are. Welcome to Bong Medical Hospital. And for today, I am your teacher doctor. I am teacher Rai. And for our learning objectives, at the end of the learning process, at least 70% of the participants with at least 70% proficiency should be able to, number 1, use analogy to describe or make a point. And this is based on the most essential learning competencies. This lesson aims specifically to, number 1, develop critical thinking. Critical thinking skill by analyzing and completing analogy. Number 2, describe and or explain the various benefits of seeing connections between words, terms, and concepts. And lastly, to appreciate the importance of analogy using graphic organizer. Before we begin with our learning engagement, bring out your slang, your pen, and your English notebook. To formally begin our session for today, let's have a review, and it will be called Learning Medical Triage. Just like in a hospital, before everyone be allowed to get in, one must be assessed or evaluated. For our activity, directions. Read the pairs of words and supply the missing word that completes the set of analogies. Then, identify its type, whether synonym, antonym, part and whole, characteristics, object function, and cause and effect. Are you ready? Then, let's get the ball rolling. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, disease is to illness, as blank is to remedy. A, sickness. B, healthy. C, cure. D, vaccine. You have 5 seconds to answer. Time is up. What is your answer? Yes, Miss Angeline.
The answer is C, cure.
Fantastic! Letter C. Now, what type of analogy is shown in this set of words?
Synonym.
Excellent! Synonym, because they have the same meaning. Now, let's proceed to the next item. Who would like to read and answer? Yes, Richard.
Number 2, healthy, malnourished. Healthy to malnourished as relief is to blank. Letter A, hurtful. Letter B, relaxed. Letter C, chill. Letter D, modest.
You have 5 seconds to answer. Time starts now.
Okay, the answer is letter A, hurtful.
Let us see. Fantastic! Then, identify the type of analogy that is shown in this set of words.
Antonym, analogy.
Very good. Antonym, because this set of words have opposite meaning. Let's proceed to the next item. Item number 3. Who would like to read and answer? Yes, Vivian.
Number 3, scissor is hot, is to cut, and nose is to smell. Letter C.
Let us see. But you have 5 minutes to answer. 5 seconds to answer. And your answer is?
Letter C.
Amazing! What type of analogy is shown in this set of words?
Function.
Very good. Object and Function. Because the first word is the object while the second word is the function of the first word. Let's move on to the next set of analogy. Vale.
Room to house emergency.
So you have 5 seconds to answer.
Letter B, hospital.
Let us see if your answer is correct. The answer is letter B. Fantastic. Now, what type of analogy is shown in this set of words? Yes.
Part. Part.
Exactly. Part and whole. Because the first object is a part of the second object, which is the whole of the part. Very good. Let's now move on to the next item. Item number 5. Please read and answer, Nikolai.
Careful,
Safe.
is safe, as careless is to.
Okay, you have 5 seconds to answer.
Letter D, trouble.
Let's see if your answer is correct.
Careful,
The answer is correct. Trouble. Now, what type of analogy is shown in this sets of words?
Cause and effect.
Very good. Cause and effect. Because the first word is the cause or the reason of the second word. And that's why the second word is the result or the effect. Let's have the last item. Let's have Angie.
Scientist is too intelligent as board eraser is too.
You have 5 seconds to answer.
B. Dusty.
Let's see if your answer is correct. The answer is letter B. Dusty. Great job. What type of analogy is shown in this sets of words?
It shows characteristic.
Exactly. The pair of words shows characteristic, description, or qualities. Congratulations! You have acquired the skills of analogy. You passed this stage. Now let's move on to the next activity. And this activity is called laboratory analysis. Just like in a hospital, you will do laboratory tests to determine the real cause of your disease so that you will be provided with appropriate treatment. In this activity, you're going to look at the pair of pictures and identify what is in the picture, tell its relationship, and share it to the class. Okay, did I make myself clear with the instruction?
Yes.
Okay, so let's begin. So I have here the first 2 sets of pictures. What is in the first picture? What do you think is in the first picture? Yes, Vivian?
Virus.
Virus. Good. Excellent. What about the second picture? Patient.
There are sick people.
Sick people. Excellent also. What do you think is the relationship of these 2 pictures? The virus and the sick people or the hospitalized persons? Yes, Marilyn?
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect. Exactly, that is cause and effect. The coronavirus is the cause of the disease of the hospitalized patient. Okay? Let's move on to the next picture. What can you see in the first picture? And what is in the second picture?
Vaccine and vaccination.
Yes, Angeli? What is in the first
The
picture?
first picture is the vaccine, while the second picture is the vaccination done.
Amazing! What is in the first picture are the vaccine, the vial, and the syringe. These are all what?
Object and function.
Exactly. The relationship shows in this set of pictures is object and function. Now, let us examine your thinking, your understanding about the set of pictures by this activity called check-up questions. Okay? So let's start with the first question. What type of relationship or analogy is shown on pair 1 and on pair 2. Let's just review your answer. Yes, Vignan?
In pair 1, cause and effect.
Okay.
And for the second pair is about the function.
Object function, very good. What about the second question? What are your bases in establishing the connections between the given pairs of words or picture? What was your basis? What was your basis? What did you consider? Yes, Marilyn?
I consider the relationship of the picture, of the object of the picture.
Oh, relationship. And what example relationship did you consider? Their what? Did you consider their commonalities or their similarities? Yes, exactly. Very good. Next, let's move on to the next question. Number 3. Were you able to distinguish the relationship between the picture easily? Why or why not? Were you able to immediately identify the similarities or the difference or the relationship between the sets of pictures? Yes or no?
Yes.
Angeli?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because it is a current issue.
Because there are current issues, because you are very aware of them. Okay, good. So what about question number 4? Are analogies helpful in describing and making a point? Explain your answer. Yes, Richard?
Yes, I definitely agree that analogies are helpful in describing and making a point because it helps us to better understand the relationship between two pairs of words.
Amazing, Richard. Let's give him a round of applause. Moving on, in this activity entitled Knowledge Diagnosis, your understanding will be deepened and concretized through this video clip. Are you excited to watch the video clip?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. So watch the video clip, then later on you are about to answer questions. following questions about the video. What is the video all about? Yes, Richard?
Okay, the video is all about the definition of analogy in describing or making a point.
Amazing! Next, let's proceed to the next question. Differentiate analogy from simile and metaphor. How analogy differs from simile and metaphor. If simile is a comparison of two objects using like and as, yes, Vivian, do you want to continue? Would you like to continue?
Similarly, we use the word like or as in comparing two things. While in metaphor, we are comparing two direct objects.
Direct using the verbs. Well, how simile and metaphor differ from analogy? Yes, Richard.
Simile and metaphor just show on the other hand, analogy make a point or
Exactly.
describe the two pairs of
Very good. An expanded and simile and metaphor is what we so-called analogy because you are already elaborating, giving reason to a specific relationship or comparison of two unsimilar objects. Let's move on to the next. What is the purpose of analogy? Yes, Marilyn.
The purpose of analogy is to support an argument and explain.
Correct, exactly. To support an argument, to explain, to elaborate. That is the purpose of analogy. That's why analogy is an expanded simile and metaphor. And lastly, how can we use analogy to describe and make a point? In the video clip, it provided 3 ways on making use of analogy. What do we need to do in making analogy? Yes, Marilyn again?
First, choose features that are related to each other.
Correct. See the relationship. Connect two objects or unsimilar things. Next, after that. Yes, Angeli.
Comparing and differentiating the qualities.
Consider the qualities by identifying the similarities and the differences. And lastly, yes, Richard, that's now, you're going to explain. Yes, Richard, would you mind to please continue?
The last step is that we're going to explain now the description of the two words.
Exactly. Explain or make a point. Very well said. Unlike the ICU in the hospital, we will have another ICU here in our lesson, but it will be called Intensifying Critical Understanding. It will provide a solid connection about your learning to the real things that are happening in our life. I know you are excited, so let's now move on to our next activity. Activity, directions. Closely look at the images and relate it to the topic. Use analogy to describe or make a point. Are you ready, class?
Yes.
Yes, I know you are. So let's move on. So here is the topic. Our topic is healthy body in the time of pandemic. So I want you to relate that topic to this picture. By the way, let us identify first this picture. What is in the picture? Yes? Criselda?
A mask.
Correct. Excellent. A surgical mask or a mask. Now, I want you to use analogy. See the relationship between healthy body in time of pandemic and the surgical mask. I want you to either describe or make a point. Yes, Angeli.
Surgical mask is used nowadays so that we wouldn't acquire what you call the coronavirus.
Very good. So do you see the relationship between surgical mask and maintaining a healthy body?
Yes.
Exactly. So let's move on to the next one, to the next picture. What is in the picture?
Exercise.
Exactly, Marilyn. Exercise or physical exercise. Now I want you to relate the two pictures or the two ideas and make a point or describe the relationship. Yes, Marilyn, continue.
To be able to boost our immune system, we must
we must exercise we must do the physical exercises.
Exactly. Is she correct?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Let's move on to the next one, to the next image. What do you see in the third picture? Can you please describe the marketplace, Griselda?
Chaos.
Chaotic? Yes?
Crowded.
Exactly. There are many people, crowded place. Now I want you to relate these two pictures, healthy belly and a crowded place in the time of pandemic. Yes, Richard, would you like to relate to pictures or idea?
To avoid, to have a healthy body in the time of pandemic, we should avoid crowded places like supermarkets.
Exactly. So for us not to contract any virus, specifically the COVID-19. Yes, Angeli,
We
any
should
idea?
observe social distancing so that we shouldn't acquire them.
Very good point. Observe social distancing. Let's have the next one. What is in the picture? Do you do that? Or do you see people doing that?
Yes.
Yes, why are you laughing, class? Yes, let's have, yes, please. What is in the picture?
There is a mask in the head, so that is not appropriate.
Correct, that is an improper wearing of mask. So we should wear our mask properly. Now, what do you see? What connections or relationship do you see in these two topics or idea? Healthy body and improper wearing of mask. Yes, Richard, I know you have your idea. Would you mind if you share it to the class?
To have a healthy body in time of pandemic, we should follow the protocols, the proper protocols, like wearing mask properly.
Okay, wearing mask properly, correct. So what about this one? Healthy body in the time of pandemic, and this one, stay home, save life. We have experienced this, I think, for a year now. This is what we call
Quarantine.
exactly quarantine or lockdown. So I want you to see or connect the relationship between healthy body in time of pandemic with quarantine or lockdown. Anyone from the class? You can choose any of the types of the analogies that we discussed earlier. Yes, Marilyn?
To be able to keep ourselves and our family from being sick, we must stay home and at the same time we're able to save lives.
Okay, very good. It seems that you are now knowledgeable on the use of analogy to describe and make a point. So let's now move on to the next activity. And at this part, we will have the activity entitled Recovery Ward. Study the infographics from the Department of Health, then use the information provided to describe and make a point on how to avoid COVID-19 disease. This time we will have a pair, think, share. Your pair or your partner is your seatmate. You have 3 minutes to work on it. So, this is the infographics from the Department of Health. I want you to look at it. Read it silently. Are you done, class? Are you done?
Yes.
Yes. So you have 3 minutes. Anyone from the class? Do we have volunteer? Let us listen to your answer. Remember, sharing is caring. Let's have the group of Miss Angeli?
The first thing that I read is about the symptoms when you have acquired COVID-19. Like you have a dry throat and you'll have a shortness of breath, and then you'll have colds. And then the next are the protocols that you have to observe so that to avoid the diseases, like wearing the surgical mask, avoiding, observe social distancing, avoiding close contact, even to animals.
Very good, no? Very good. Now, do you think that the infographic is very informative?
Yes. of
Yes. Aside from what your information that you have mentioned, what else we can get or we can infer from that infographic?
For us to be able not to acquire the disease, we have to do those things.
Okay, to abide, to follow
Yes.
the protocols
Yes.
provided by our government. Exactly. Okay? Very good. Moving on, remember that a healthy mind disease and other respiratory diseases. So, here is the infographics. I want you to read it silently. Anyway, you have the copy of the infographics in your activity sheet, which you get from our school. So this is the Venn diagram. In the Venn diagram, you are going to write in the intersection the similarity of the COVID-19, which is 1, and to the other respiratory diseases. And on the other part of the circles, you're going to write the features of the COVID-19 for number 1 and the 2 for other respiratory diseases. That is for group 1. Group 1, do you have any question about your activity? Group 1? Okay. For group 2, you're going to do comparison and contrast chart. Study the chart about the various vaccines for COVID-19. So read and analyze the table. Anyway, you have the hard copy of this table in our activity sheet provided by our school. Now, based on the chart, you are going to answer this question. If you were given a chance to choose among these vaccines, which do you prefer to be vaccinated to you and why? I know that this is one of the issues that we are confronted with nowadays. And for our rubrics, meet the standard content, you will get 5 points. If the group shows excellent understanding of the assigned task, the use of analogy to describe and make a point is very clear, and you will get 2 points. If the group shows fair understanding of the assigned task, there is no attempt to use analogy. That is for content. And for creativity, you will get 5 points if the group shows utmost creativity. The output is clean, organized, and clear. And you will get 2 points if the group presents a clean, organized, and clear output. And for the presentation, you will get 5 points if the reporter or reporters explains the output clearly without errors. And you will get 2 points if the reporter or reporters explains the output fairly with a number of errors. It's presentation time. Now, I know you cannot perform today because of our situation. Make sure to upload your outputs in our Google Drive.
Thank you.
And, not yet, at this juncture, we will have the declaration form. Now, I want you to complete this open-ended statement. After doing all the learning tasks on the use of analogy to describe and make a point, I realized that blank because blank. With this, I will blank. Anyone who would like to complete this open-ended statement? Yes, Angeli.
After after doing all the learning tasks on the use of analogy to describe it, I realized that I have to follow the protocols that the Department of Health has given because it will make me healthy during this time of pandemic. With this, I will follow what they have, the protocols that they have provided.
Very good. So she will be a very good law-abiding citizen. Okay? And for our final check-up, finally we will have the final check-up. Direction, write through if the statement is correct and false if not. So, click the link to direct you to the Google Forms. And for those who cannot access due to internet problem, the hard copy is already provided by our school through our learning activity sheet. And for those who would like to answer, this is the questions. And lastly, for our assignment, always remember, OKA. Observe physical distancing. Check your body temperature. Always wash your hands and wear your face mask. And of course, express your thought. In your journal, I want you to write an essay about pandemic and COVID-19 disease. Describe and make a point in adapting it in the new normal. Your essay should have at least 4 paragraphs. It must be cohesive, coherent, and it must have unity. And you must propose solution. Okay? Do you have any question, class?
Answer.
Always keep in mind, think positive, stay negative. Thank you for tuning in our enabling, engaging English session. This has been your teacher, Doctor. I am your teacher, Ryan, saying God bless and good morning, everyone.